Welcome to my channel. I am Maricita Colors in English.
Hello, my dear friends of Maricita Colors. Today I will make a nice bunny in crochet. I use 5 colors and a nice fantasy stitch. It's a double crochet in relief. Double crochet punto alto en español. I change the colors and I alternate the stitches. Here in my channel you can find 3 bunny hats with this stitch. I will let you at the end the photos. In knitting we have the rib stitch, that is one knit and one pull stitch, and here I call the same name. This is the knit and the pull stitch, that is horizontal. You can make for all the size, you can use all the colors, and you can make this bunny of one color too. This size is for teenagers and for us the adults. I compare with one bunny that is in knitting but in machine, and I use the same size. Now I will tell you how many centimeters I have here. 27 times 2 is 54 centimeters of wide, and from long is 28 centimeters of long. My bunny hat has 84 stitches and I make in circle. Here I have 14 squares. Every square has 6 stitches, so altogether are 84 stitches. I have 84 stitches in every round, and I change the colors and alternate the stitches, and from here I begin to make the decreases. This stitch you must make plus 12 stitches for that the pull and knit stitch coincide. Here I have a bunny for babies, newborns until 3 years more or less. The size is 19 times 2 are 38 centimeters of wide and the long is 14 centimeters. So here I show you how calculate the stitches. So for a baby must be until here. I have 5 squares, altogether are 10. 10 times 6 stitches, it will be 60 stitches is for a size for babies from newborns until 3 years old. I use the hook number 4 millimeters and the yarn. In the etiquette says that I must use a hook between 3 and 4 millimeters. And if you want a bunny for kids between 3 until 12 years old more or less, it will be 12 stitches more. Now I will let you one table with size. Look, here in my bunny, when I start to make the decreases, I didn't change anymore or alternate the stitches. I only changed the color of the yarn. This is the pull and knit stitches. So now we will learn to make this nice bunny hat. For my pattern, I will make 48 chains. I will make the chains. I involve 2 times the yarn in my hook. The first pass into the second. I don't let the yarn and I catch the yarn that go to the ball and I make the first chain. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 48 chains. Now we will make one circle. I make a straight over chains and I will join into the first chain with one slip stitch. Punto deslizado en español. Chain, cadeneta en español. Hook, aguja en español. Now I will make 2 chains like the first double crochet. Double crochet vareta en español. In every chain that I find, I will make 1 double crochet. You can make this bunny hat with all the yarns, but remember that you must make one little pattern and compare how many centimeters make your yarn and hook. Here almost I finished to make the double crochet. In every stitch, always try that your double crochet are straight. Here I have 44, I will make the 45 double crochet, 46, 47, and 48 double crochet. We will join the round with the second chain of the beginning. I insert here in this stitch beside the first double crochet. And here we make the slip stitch. I will begin the double crochet in relief and we will make the squares. 2 chains that represent the first double crochet. This double crochet always count like the first double crochet from the 6 that we must make. Now I will make the knit, stitch, and relief. Yarn over, we insert into the space before and after the double crochet of the previous round. From the front to the back and again to the front. Yarn over, we pass the yarn, now we have 3 loops, yarn over, we pass for 2, yarn over, we pass for 2. Now I have 2 double crochet. Yarn over into the next stitch or double crochet, we insert before and after the double crochet, yarn over, we bring the yarn, now we have 3 loops, yarn over, we pass for 2 loops, and yarn over, we pass for the last 2 loops. Now I have 3 double crochet, we must make 6. So we repeat the double crochet in relief like the knit stitch. Now I will make 6 purl stitches that are from the reverse. Yarn over from the back to the front, we pass the double crochet and we pass into this space again to the reverse, yarn over, we bring the yarn, now we have 3 loops, yarn over, we pass for 2 and for the last 2 stitches or 2 loops. Yarn over from the reverse to the front, we pass the double crochet and in this space we go to the reverse, yarn over, we bring 1 loop, yarn over and we pass from 2 in 2. So now we have 2 purl stitches. We must have 6 purl stitches. Now I have the 6 purl stitches and now must make the 6 knit stitches. And we repeat the same from the front to the reverse and again to the front. We make the 6 double crochet for the front or knit stitch, like I say. Again, we must repeat the 6 purl stitch, that is from the reverse to the front. We pass the double crochet from the reverse and again to the reverse. And from here we make the double crochet. Like this, I will repeat until that I finish the round. Always we must make the 6 purl stitch and the 6 knit stitches. Almost I finished the first round with the relief stitch. I make 6 knit and 6 purl stitches. And here I make the purl stitch, that is from the reverse. And here I find the 6 knit stitches. For that our thread coincide, always you must make 12 chains more in the beginning. Here I have 4 purl stitches, so I must make only 2 more or 2 purl stitches more. This is the 6 purl stitch from the reverse to the front and again to the reverse. And we make the double crochet. Here I find the 2 chains of the beginning, that is like the first double crochet, and here into this stitch I make the slip stitch, is beside the double crochet. And look how appears in the purl stitch, appears this horizontal line. Now for begin the next round, we make again 2 chains and we must repeat the 6 purl and 6 knit stitches. This is the knit stitch from the front to the reverse and again to the front, yarn over, and we make from 2 in 2. And here I have the 2 double crochet. You must repeat all the stitches. Here we have the 6 knit stitches and now I must make the 6 purl stitches that are from the reverse to the front and again to the reverse. We pass the yarn or bring the yarn over, and we pass from 2 in 2. So like this you must make the 6 purl stitches or the double crochet from the reverse. Here I have the 6 purl stitches. I will repeat until that I have 4 rounds of this purl stitch. Here I have 2. I have the 4 rounds of the purl stitches, that are 4 rounds altogether. I will repeat here the purl stitch, that is from the reverse to the front and again to the reverse. Here I have 5 and I will make the 6 double crochet in relief from the reverse. And before I finish this round, I will change the yarn, the color of the yarn. I pass the hook into the stitch in the second chain, and with the new yarn I pass and I make the slip stitch. Here you can make 2 knots, for that is more secure your yarn. And we can cut the yellow yarn. And for begin the round with the lila color, I will make 3 chains. Why 3 chains? The first is only for join. In the next rounds you will repeat the 2 chains. It's only when we change the color of the yarn. If you don't change the color, so here only you will repeat all the stitches. In the next round I will change the stitches. Here only we will change the color of the yarn. Yarn over, and we must make the double crochet in relief for the front that I call like the knit stitch. You must repeat all the stitches until that you finish the round. 6 knit and 6 purl stitches. Almost I finished the round. Here I have 5 double crochet, the purl, double crochet. Here I make the last double crochet for the reverse to the front and again to the reverse. And look how appears this line. We have here 5 lines of the purl stitch. I will join the round in the third chain of the begin. Beside the double crochet, we insert the hook and we make the slip stitch. Punto deslizado en español. Now I will change the stitches. We will alternate. We make 2 chains like the first double crochet, and where I find the knit stitch, I will make the purl stitch. So in the first stitch, from the reverse to the front and again to the reverse, yarn over, we pass, we have 3 loops, yarn over, we pass for 2, yarn over, we pass for the last 2 loops. So now I begin to alternate the stitches. Here I must make the 6 double crochet from the reverse, like the purl stitches. Now I have the 6 stitches. Now I find the 6 purl stitches and I must make the 6 knit stitches. Now almost I finish the round. I alternate the stitches. Over the purl stitches I make the knit stitches, and here I make the the knit stitch number 6. And here I find the 2 chains of the begin and we join into the second chain. Is beside the double crochet. We join with the slip stitch. And now you can recognize over the knit stitch, now we find the first round of the purl stitches. Here I will tell you how many squares I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 squares. Here I have 48 stitches. If I make 12 stitches more, I will have 2 squares more. Here I let you a table with the number of squares that you will have in your Benny hat. Only I must continue until that I have the 4 rounds of the purl stitch. I made the first 2 chains and here I must make the purl stitches. Almost I finished the 4th round. Here I made the 6 knit stitch and before join the round I will change the color of the yarn. In the second chain of the begin I will change with this beige color and we make the slip stitch. Here I will make 2 knots or 2 knots, nudos en español. Here I will cut the yarn of the lila yarn. I let a little centimeter, some centimeter for that I can sew good our work. Here I will make in the first row or round, we make 3 chains because 1 is like the join. And here we must continue with the stitches. We don't change the stitches. Here I must make the purl stitches. So we are repeat the stitches that we make when we change for the lila color. Like this you must make your Benny until that you have the long that you prefer, making the 6 knit stitches and the 6 purl stitches. Here almost I finish the round and I will join with the second chain of the beginning. We made 3, so it's in the third. In this round is only where I make 3. After this I make always 2 chains like the first double crochet. So now appears the 5 round of the purl stitch. This is the way that I recognize my stitches, my rounds. Now for begin I make 2 chains and here we must change the stitches. If I find the purl stitches, we must make the knit stitches. Here is the knit stitches for the front. From the front to the reverse and again to the front with the hook. So now we have all the stitches. You must alternate and change the color of the yarn until that you have the long of your Benny that you prefer. Here I made 6 knit stitches and here I find the knit stitches of the previous round, so I must make the purl stitches. Here almost I finished this round where I changed the stitches. Here I make the purl stitches, for this appears the line horizontal. The purl stitch is from the reverse to the front and again to the reverse. And here we find the 2 chains of the begin and we join with 1 slip stitch. This you must repeat always, is the same. So like this I make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors and after this I begin with the decreases. I will tell you how many centimeters. Until here, the beige I make with the 84 stitches, and here in the lila color I begin with the decreases. So until the beige I have approximately 19 centimeters of long. My Benny is one slouchy, but if you want make the normal model that is short, I will let you here one table with the approximately longs. I will make in this round the decreases. I make 2 chains like the first double crochet, and here in this pattern I have 48 stitches. So the decreases must be every 2 stitches like my table. Now I will make the first decrease. Yarn over, we insert like the knit stitch, and we pass for 2, and before we finish, yarn over and we go into the next stitch and we make the knit stitch. And when we have the 3 loops, we close together. And here we have the first decrease. These 2 double crochet now are 1. I will continue. I will make 2 double crochet more, 2 knit stitches, and into the next stitch I must make the decrease. Here is the pull stitch, so I make like the pull stitch, I pass for the 2 loops, and before I finish this stitch I go into the next. Yarn over and we make the pull stitch, we bring the yarn over, we pass for 2, and now when I have the 3 loops we close together. Here I will make another decrease. We make the pull stitch, we pass for 2 loops, and before I finish this stitch, yarn over and we make the another pull stitch. We close and we have 3 loops and we close together. I want to show you how you make the decreases, 1 knit stitch and 1 pull stitch, because you can find when you make the decreases in your Benny. So here I find 1 pull stitch, I will make like the pull stitch, and before I finish the stitch I go and I find the knit stitch. So we make like knit stitch, yarn over, we pass for 2, and when we have the 3 loops we close together. So I made 1 decrease with 1 knit and 1 pull stitches. So in the next round you can do it like knit or like pull stitch. I will continue making the decreases every 2 stitches and I will back when I finish the round. Here I make 1 decrease with pull stitch. Before I finish this double crochet, I go into the next stitch and I make, and when I have the 3 loops we close together. Here I have another decrease, and here I will make the last 2 double crochet. And we join with the slip stitch in the second chain of the beginning. So we made the first round of decreases. Like this you must make in your Benny. In this pattern I had 48 stitches less the 12 stitches of the decreases. Now I have 36 stitches. Here I made the 2 chains of the beginning, and after the decreases I don't make decreases in this round. I only repeat a stitch over a stitch. Look, here I find the first decrease, 2 double crochet are 1, so I make the double crochet, the knit double crochet. If you find like purl stitch, you must make the purl stitch. Here I will show you. So here I find the purl stitch, the two together, the decrease, the first decrease, and I will make one purl stitch. Here I left you one table with the decreases. In the first round, I make every 5 stitches 1 decrease. And like this, I repeat until finish the round. In the second round, I have 72 chains and I must make the decrease every 4 stitches 1 decrease and repeat until finish the round. In the third round of decreases, I have 60 stitches, so I must begin with 3 double crochet, 1 decrease, 3 double crochet, 1 decrease. And in the fourth round of decreases, I make every 2 stitches 1 decrease. Between every round of decreases, I make 1 round without decreases. Only I make a stitch over a stitch. This I made for that the decreases are not together. You must make the decreases until that you have 36 double crochet. But if you want, you can continue making the decreases. In the next round of decreases, you can make 1 double crochet, 1 decrease, 1 double crochet, 1 decrease. And you will have 24 double crochet at the end. Always is 12 double crochet less in every round. Remember that when I begin to make the decreases, I stop to make or stop to alternate the stitches. I only continue stitch over stitch. I change the color of the yarn every 4 rounds. Now I have my video advanced where I will show you how I close my slouchy. Here I finish my Benny. I make 4 rounds only with 36 double crochet, stitch over stitch. The decreases finish in the yellow color. And now I will join with 1 slip stitch in the second chain of the begin. Slip stitch, punto deslizado en español, and ready. Now for close, I pass the yarn into the last stitch, cut the yarn, and I let some centimeters for I can sew good my Benny or slouchy. Gorro en español. We finish to pass the yarn into the last stitch, and here I have 13 centimeters, 2 times is 26 all together. Here I will use the needle for close my Benny. With the needle I will pass the yarn in every stitch, softly in every stitch, because at the end we will pull the yarn. So, in every stitch we pass the yarn. This is the front of my Benny. I will pass the yarn in all around. Here I can make a mark or a yarn for to know where I begin. So we continue making the yarn in the top of my Benny. Almost I finished to pass the yarn or the needle all around the top of my Benny. Here is the mark, and I will pass the needle into the last stitch, and we start to pull the yarn softly for that you don't break your yarn. So, little to little, we have a little space now in our Benny. So now I will pass the needle into the reverse of my slouchy or Benny, and from here I will start to sew front in front until that the Benny is complete close. The top of my Benny is closed, and only I will start to sew the yarn. For that is secure my thread. Like this you will sew all the yarns in your thread. I don't pass the needle into the front of the Benny. It's only in the center of the stitches. I make always a loop, and into this loop I pass the needle. And when you see that your yarn is secured, you can cut. And we turn into the front our slouchy. Look, here is like a rose. It's beautiful. And we have ready our beautiful slouchy or Benny hat in crochet with this fantasy stitch in relief. It's double crochet in relief. Before I finish my video, I want to invite you to subscribe here in my channel, Maricita Colors in English. It's total free. Remember, activate the bell for that you receive the posts when I have a new video here in my channel. You can find me too in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. And if you like this video, you can give one like and share it with your family and friends. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias to all the persons that write me. I love to read your comments. Nos vemos hasta la próxima. We see us until my next crochet or knitting pattern. Ciao, ciao.